Thank you, Nell, for sharing that. Armis Brooks was a situation comedy starring Eve Arden. It began as a radio show broadcast on CBS from 1948 to 1957. When the show was adapted to television, it became one of the medium's first early hits. In 1956, the sitcom was adapted for the big screen in the film of the same name. Armis Brooks was a hit on radio from the onset. Within 8 months of its launch as a regular series, the show landed several honors. According to Wikipedia, Arden had actually been the third choice to play the role. Lucille Ball was believed to have been a top choice, but she was already committed to My Favorite Husband and did not audition. Then CBS chairman Bill Paley, who knew Arden, persuaded her to audition for the part. For its entire radio life, the show was sponsored by Colgate-Palmolive Pete, promoting Palmolive soap, Luster Cream shampoo, and Tony hair care products. The radio series continued until 1957, a year after its television life ended. Well, let's go back to December 20th, 1953, for the Christmas gift mix-up on Armis Brooks.
Armis Brooks. Well, with the Christmas holiday so close at hand, our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, is faced with a few problems common to many of us. First of all, she has all her Christmas shopping to do. And second, she has very little time to do it.
And third, she has no money to do it with. At least I have very little money, $20 to be exact. And considering the people I usually give presents to, I knew that wouldn't go very far. After thinking it over for a while, however, I arrived at the only possible solution to my dilemma, which I conveyed to my landlady at breakfast last Wednesday morning.
Then you're going to spend the entire $20 on a gift for Mr. Boynton, Connie?
Yes, it's the only thing I can do, Mrs. Davis. I think I should be able to get him a nice gift for $20. It's better than giving a number of my friends a lot of trash, don't you agree?
I suppose so, dear. I know I certainly didn't expect anything from you.
Well, I'm glad, because
after all, what difference does it make that I cook your meals all year round, and that I make up your room every day, and that I never badger you for the rent when you get 6 weeks behind? Or that I'm constantly helping you with your problems as if you were my own daughter. I do it out of the goodness of my heart, and I certainly don't expect anything in return.
If I crawled under a rug, I wouldn't even make a bump. But Mrs. Davis, we agreed we wouldn't exchange presents this year.
Of course we did, Connie, so you stick to your agreement. After all, what difference does it make if I happen to forget and order you a beautiful gift?
You ordered me a gift?
Oh, dear, it slipped out.
Well, slip it back in. Perhaps it wasn't as much of a sacrifice for you as it was...
Well, what difference does it make that I far exceeded my budget to get it for you? So, I'll just eat a little less for the next 6 months. Just because the spirit of the season has swept me away doesn't mean it has to sweep you too.
Sweep me? It might easily clean me out. Well, I suppose I actually should give you a gift too, since we're so close and all that.
Now, dear, you'll do no such thing. Don't give it another thought.
Well, all right.
I can't count on perfectly well squeezing oranges by hand for another year. Just because I can hardly straighten out my poor fingers when I'm through is no concern of yours.
Then you want a finger straightener. I mean an orange juice squeezer.
Why, Connie, how did you know?
It was just a wild guess.
But the $10 they wanted cherries is much more than I'll let you spend.
Well, then...
So if you'll just give me $7 cash, I'll get the squeezer at McGinty's Sales Company. I happen to have an exclusive introductory credit card there. It's the only thing that will let you in, and it entitles you to a third off on everything.
As I say, I should be able to get Mr. Boynton a nice gift for $13. I'll give you the money as soon as I get my bag.
Thanks, dear. Now, I'll tell you what I got for you. It's something I felt was very personal.
Something personal? What is it?
A chess set.
A chess set.
Yes, dear. I know how Mr. Boynton loves the game, and it will give you two something to do together on those long winter evenings. That is, if you know how the game goes.
Oh, certainly. Right out of the window. It was very thoughtful of you, Mrs. Davis. Oh, there's Walter to drive me to school. Be right out, Walter. I'd better be going, Mrs. Davis.
All right, dear. Well, I intend to do the rest of my shopping this morning, so I'll drop off your present at school. Maybe you and Mr. Boynton can use it in the cafeteria at lunch.
We might at that. Those chessmen ought to taste a lot more tender than the rest of the food. Walter? Walter, is it my imagination, or are you driving more carefully today?
Well, I was hoping you'd notice, dear teacher. Yeah, I'm driving particularly carefully today. You see, as part of her Christmas present, my mother gave me new bumpers for this car.
What happened? Pedestrians finally wear out your old ones? Well, that was a thoughtful gift, but isn't it a little early to be receiving Christmas presents?
Oh, no, ma'am. No, indeed. I must have received 3/4 of my gifts already, particularly those from my close friends at school. Oh, yeah, they've already given me their gift. 3/4 of them, maybe even 7/8. A matter of fact, I can think of only 1 or 2 who haven't.
Matter of fact, I think I'll get out and walk.
There's nothing like the spirit of giving at Christmas, is there? You know, of course, a kid like me who operates on a limited budget can only exchange gifts with his nearest relatives and his closest and more intimate friends. Isn't that so, Miss Brooks?
It certainly is, stranger. In essence, I agree with you, Walter, but the truth of the matter is I only have $13 for my Christmas shopping. That leaves me with just enough money for a gift for Mr. Boynton. Now, do you understand?
I guess I do. Well, I certainly didn't expect anything from you, Miss Brooks.
I'm glad. So then I won't just...
After all, what difference does it make that I pick you up and drive you to school every day, all year round, or that I spend half of my time at school running errands for you? You do whatever you do, Miss Brooks, but no one else is going to receive the beautiful present that I selected for you.
You bought me a present already?
Now, please forget about it, will you?
All right, then.
After all, I'm getting enough gifts without that $7 briefcase at Sherry's I've been wanting more than anything else in the world.
Walter, I'd like to buy the briefcase for you, but $7 is rather high.
Oh, much too high, Miss Brooks. No, I wouldn't let you spend that much money for anything.
Good.
So, if you give me $5 in cash, I'll get the same thing at McGinty's.
As I say, $8 ought to buy a fine gift for Mr. Boynton.
I have an exclusive introductory credit card at McGinty's. Everything's a third off. It's the only card that'll let you in.
At the moment, that isn't what worries me.
No? Well, then what does, Miss Brooks?
Does McGinty print a card that will let me out? Walter, there's no reason to sneak past Mr. Conklin's office, even if we are 5 minutes late.
But, Miss Brooks, you know how Mr. Conklin feels about these things. What would you say if he did suddenly step out of his office now?
Good morning, Miss Brooks.
Does that answer your question, Walter? Mr. Conklin, I realize we're a little late, sir, but if you'll only...
Oh, tut, my dear. Don't give it a second thought. I'm delighted to give my students and faculty a little latitude this time of year. It's the Christmas season, and I'm filled with the spirit of peace on earth and goodwill to all men.
Well, it's nice of you to extend it to females and young boys.
Not at all, Miss Brooks. Now, will you come into my office, please? I have something to ask you.
But, sir, I'm 5 minutes late now.
And you'll be 5 minutes later. Into my office.
Yes, sir. See you later, Walter.
Yeah, bye, Miss Brooks.
Now sit down, my dear. Sit right down, and I'll get right to the point. I want some advice from you, Miss Brooks.
Some advice?
Yes, about a gift. I'm doing my Christmas shopping this afternoon. I want you to be sure to tell me what you want before I leave.
But, sir, I didn't think you approved of faculty members exchanging gifts.
Oh, I don't, Miss Brooks. It's just that I happen to be imbued with the spirit of giving, the spirit of Christmas. And if I choose to remember my teachers, I certainly don't want to expect any gifts in return. Of course, if my teachers insist on showing their appreciation for the many little favors I've done for them in the past year, why, I'm powerless to stop them.
I'm hooked. I was wondering what I could get you for Christmas, sir. Could you give me a suggestion? Something you particularly needed or wanted? For about 50 cents?
Oh, my dear, I want you to forget even to mention the word gifts this morning. Dismiss it from your mind. Besides, I smoke too much anyway.
Smoke?
Yes, and $10 is much too much for anyone to pay for the alligator pouch I've always wanted.
Well, sir, I'd certainly like to get it for you, but that is rather expensive.
$10 is far, far too expensive. I wouldn't dream of letting you spend that much money.
Well, I'm glad, because I don't think
No, if you have the money with you, I know just where I can get it for $7.
Murdered again by McGinty's.
Here we are, Miss Brooks. My dessert and coffee, and I brought you a piece of pineapple pie a la mode.
Why, Mr. Boynton, what a thoughtful Christmas present.
Christmas present?
Why, it's exactly what I've always wanted. You shouldn't have gone to all that extra expense.
What extra expense?
The pineapple pie would have been enough. You should have kept the a la mode for my birthday. Pineapple pie a la mode. As I always say, Mr. Boynton, let the other women get their mink coats and pearl necklaces. Just give me a gift that touches you right in the stomach, heart.
Oh, I get it now. You're joking.
I was afraid you'd see it that way. But, Mr. Boynton, this actually would be enough. After all, it's the spirit of giving that counts rather than the gift itself.
Well, not entirely, Miss Brooks. True, the spirit must be there, but the gift is important too. I've ordered you a beautiful gift. I know how you are about giving gifts of equal value, and I wouldn't want to disappoint you.
You've picked a fine time to start. That is, it's very thoughtful of you, Mr. Boynton, very thoughtful. Particularly since I joined the Christmas Club a year ago and put away $1 a week just for your gift.
$52 for my present?
$52.75. They pay interest. But just because we've given each other gifts of equal value in the past, I don't want that to influence you this Christmas.
$52.
Uh-huh. And that, combined with the $30 I borrowed from Mrs. Davis, ought to buy you a very nice gift.
Miss Brooks, I've just been thinking.
I hope you've been thinking what I think you've been thinking. Yes, Mr. Boynton?
Well, after all, it's really the spirit of giving that counts rather than the gift itself.
You've convinced me. Here, this package is for you, and Merry Christmas.
For me? You got this for me? Must I wait until Christmas, or may I open it now? What's inside, Miss Brooks?
Yes, yes, no, yes, chess.
A chess set. What a wonderful present.
Well, I was going to get you a few more gifts, but since you convinced me not...
Hi, Miss Brooks. Hi, Mr. Boynton.
Well, hello, Harriet.
Oh, Mr. Boynton, Daddy wants to see you in his office right away. Something about signing a requisition for some test tubes you wanted.
Oh, thank you, Harriet.
Oh, and Miss Brooks, your landlady called, and she wants you to call back when you can. Now, let me see. Is there someone I've forgotten?
Better look under the table to make sure. Did Mrs. Davis say what she wanted me to call her about?
No, but she said she'd keep the receiver off the hook so her line would be open when you called.
Now, there's something wrong with that, but offhand, I don't know just what.
Well, I'd better get up to Mr. Conklin's office and get that requisition signed. Thanks again for the gift, Miss Brooks. It really was quite unexpected.
Yes, for both of us. I mean, both of us may use it.
Of course. Well, see you later, Miss Brooks.
Oh, I'll walk to the phone with you, Miss Brooks.
All right, Harriet. Well, how has Santa been treating you so far, dear?
Oh, not too badly. Walter gave me a slave bracelet, but I don't think I'll wear it.
Why not?
Well, you should see what he had engraved on it. Finder, please return this girl to Walter Denton.
Why, I think that's cute, Harriet. If a certain party gave me one of those bracelets, I think I might enjoy getting lost. Now, excuse me, dear, while I make this call.
Okay, bye, Miss Brooks.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Davis. This is Connie.
Oh, Connie. Well, how did you like the gift I gave you?
Oh, it's lovely, Mrs. Davis. Simply lovely.
I knew you'd be enthusiastic over that black silk negligee.
Well, certainly, it's something that Mr. Boynton and I can... Black silk negligee? Oh, no!
I intimated it was a chess set, Connie, just to throw you off the track.
And you sure did. Right into the path of a screaming locomotive.
Was the negligee the wrong size, dear?
Well, I'm not sure, but I think Mr. Boynton takes a 38.
Speak louder, Connie. It sounded almost like you said Mr. Boynton.
I've got to hang up now, Mrs. Davis. I just gave somebody a gift, and I've got to get it back before he opens it.
Why? Do you think he won't like it, Connie?
Oh, not exactly, Mrs. Davis. It's something that all men like, but on somebody else.
Come in. Ah, come in, Boynton, come in. Sit right down, my boy.
Thank you, Mr. Conklin. I came in to sign that requisition for those test tubes. I know it needs both our signatures.
Ah, yes. Here, use this fountain pen, Boynton. A Christmas gift from Miss Enright. A fabulously generous person. Not that I expect gifts from my faculty members, mind you. Why, last year there were 3 teachers who gave me nothing for Christmas, and one of them is still with us.
Yes, sir.
Merry Christmas, Boynton.
Oh, and a Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Is that all, Boynton?
Oh, no, sir. And a Happy New Year.
I had a feeling you'd say that. Mr. Boynton, if you pardon my curiosity, just what is that gaily wrapped parcel you're carrying under your arm?
Oh, it's nothing, sir. Just a little present.
Oh, thank you so much!
But, sir.
Oh, so you were teasing your old principal, huh, Boynton?
No, sir. It's only that.
Never mind what it is, Boynton. It's not what it is that counts, but the spirit in which it is given. What is it, Boynton?
It's a chess set, sir.
Splendid! Just what I need. I know just where I can exchange for it. It's exactly what I want. Now, go right ahead, Boynton. Sign that requisition, and we'll put it in the works right away.
All right, and thank you, sir.
Oh, forget it, Boynton. And consider these test tubes as my Christmas present to you.
Mr. Boynton, Mr. Boynton. Oh, Mr. Boynton, I'm glad I finally found you. I missed you right after lunch.
Goodness, Miss Brooks, you're breathless.
Please, this is no time for flattery. Oh, you mean I'm winded. I've been looking for you after every period since noon. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to return that gift I gave you. There's been a slight mistake, and I'll have to exchange it.
Oh, the gift you gave me? Well, you can't exchange it, Miss Brooks. I used it during my free period.
Wasn't it a little skimpy around the hips? I mean, you opened it already?
Well, I haven't exactly opened it, but I like chess. It's my favorite game.
Believe me, Mr. Boynton, in this thing you couldn't make a move. Look, I really must have it back. You see, I gave you the wrong present by mistake.
Oh, well then, I may as well tell you the truth. I gave it to Mr. Conklin as a Christmas present. I hadn't intended to, but before I knew it, he seemed to take possession of it.
You gave him the gift I gave you? Mr. Boynton, I'm shocked. How could you bring yourself to give away a gift someone else had given you? If you knew the time and thought and effort I put in to select a gift that would suit your personality.
Really, Miss Brooks, it all happened so quickly. I had no alternative.
Please, Mr. Boynton, no excuses. I still think you were quite negligent. Well, I've got to get it back at once, so here goes.
Well, good luck, Miss Brooks.
Come in. Why, Miss Brooks, come in, my dear. Well, have you decided what little gift you'd like from your principal this year?
Well, frankly, I'm undecided, sir, between a little diamond wristwatch and a little alligator handbag.
How about a little psychoanalysis? This is Osgood Conklin you're talking to, Miss Brooks, not Daddy Warbucks.
Fortunately, Mr. Conklin, I managed to obtain one of those exclusive personal discount cards from the McGinty Sales Company. A little boy was handing them out at the street, and if you gave me the cash, I think I could get a certain watch for well under $50.
$50? Miss Brooks, I'm just as susceptible to the infectious generosity of the season as the next man, but I do not intend to allow that infection to kill off my entire life savings.
Well, Mr. Conklin, next to the watch and the handbag, the only thing I want is a chess set.
A chess set? Here, Miss Brooks, exactly what I got for you. Take it. It's yours.
My, what a delightful surprise.
I'm glad you like it, Miss Brooks. You just can't imagine the time and the thought I put into the selection of your gift. Truly, my dear, it was quite a struggle to get it.
Well, I'm glad he didn't give it up without a fight. My, you certainly have a lovely collection of presents in here, Mr. Conklin.
There's still one teacher I haven't heard from yet, Mr. Perkins in the math department. Come in and bring it with you. Why, Mr. Stone!
Hello, Conklin and Miss Brooks. Season's greetings to you both.
And the same to you, sir.
Oh, here, Conklin, I brought over this gift for you.
Thank you, Mr. Stone.
Oh, forget I'm head of the school board today, Conklin. Get into the old Christmas spirit. Enjoy yourself. Relax. Smile. Have you given out all your gifts yet, Osgood?
Gifts? Oh, yes! Miss Brooks just finished wrapping yours, Mr. Stone. Here.
Oh, but sir, that package is not able to...
Yes, Miss Brooks, you were saying?
May you get many years of use out of your gift, Mr. Stone. And for longer life, rinse it out every night and hang it up in the bathroom.
Oh, is it a shirt, Conklin?
Oh, no, sir.
Handkerchiefs?
No.
Socks?
No, but I'll give you a hint. 2 people can use it at the same time.
If they're midgets.
2 can use it at the same time, huh? Oh, is it something that can be used outdoors on an athletic field?
Possibly. But it might be a little chilly for night games.
Mr. Stone, why don't you open it and see for yourself?
Oh, you don't have to ask me twice, Conklin. Well, I'm just as curious as a little kid at Christmas. Hey, whoa, what the? Conklin! I don't understand.
Well, what could be nicer than a black silk negligee? It's the perfect gift for you, and I know you'll get many years of pleasure and use. What could be nicer than a black silk negligee? Mr. Stone, believe me,
Conklin! I have heard of asinine practical jokes before, but pulling a trick like this on Christmas is an absolute insult.
Mr. Stone, I can explain. It was a simple natural error. You see, when I got this from Mr. Boynton... Miss Brooks? Why did Mr. Boynton give me a black silk negligee?
I can't understand it either, sir. Pale blue is much more your color. I just can't understand it at all.
Conklin, I'm still waiting for an explanation.
Come in.
Mrs. Davis wanted to see Miss Brooks on an urgent matter, sir.
That's right, Osgood. Oh, hello, Mr. Stone.
Hello, Mrs. Davis.
Oh, Connie, there's the negligee I gave you. I see you've opened it.
What? Miss Brooks, you mean you gave me a gift that someone else had given you for Christmas?
Well, you see...
Boynton, you mean you gave me a gift someone else had given you?
Well, sir,
Conklin, you mean you gave me a gift that 3 other people had given you?
Well,
That nightgown has more mileage on it than a 1928 Ford.
I don't quite understand what's going on around here, but if your idea of a joke is to hand me a cheap nightgown...
Mr. Stone, that is not a cheap nightgown. It cost $22.50.
$22.50. Say, it is rather pretty at that. Conklin, perhaps I've been a little hasty. I think Mrs. Stone will be delighted with your thoughtful gift.
Well, I'm afraid I did give you the wrong gift, Mr. Stone. I had really intended that for Mrs. Conklin.
But Mr. Conklin, I was going to give it to my mother.
If you were, she'll have to come down here and take it off my back. That gift was originally given to me by Mrs. Davis.
That's true, Connie, but I'm afraid I'll have to take it back, dear.
Take it back? But why, Mrs. Davis?
My sister Angela gave it to me as a gift, and she's coming over tonight to see it on me. So, if you don't mind, I'll take it home. See you all again soon.
Well, there goes Mother's negligee.
Whose negligee, Boynton?
I might ask you the same question, Conklin.
Oh, really, Mr. Stone, I don't...
Gentlemen, please. We shouldn't argue. Let's try to remember it always as our negligee.
Do you exchange? Never mind, I won't ask. I won't ask. Just be careful what you exchange, though, if you do, all right? Thank you for coming. Let's meet our cast for our Miss Brooks. Mr. Stone, the strict head of the school board, was played by David Sanchez. David. The teenage voice of Harriet was played by our versatile Donna Amesmeyer. Thank you, Teeny. Miss Brooks' favorite student, Walter Denton, was played by Marty McNulty. Thank you, Marty. The rigid principal, Conklin, was played by Tom Duggan. Mrs. Davis was played by Sue Gazinski. And that fine English teacher, Miss Brooks, was played by Ellie Babka. By the way, I'm ad-libbing right now because I want to give thanks from our group to someone who puts an extra amount of effort and energy in. Many times the scripts that we're reading from, Ellie transcribes from the radio and from tape. Some are 15 and 20 pages in transcription. So I want to thank her, and we want to thank her very much. Thank you so much. thank you very much, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you. By the way, my name is Roger Morris. Thank you for being here.
Yes? Pardon me, Mr. Boynton? Oh, yes. Certainly. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Herb Thompson.
Don't encourage him. Next month's shows that we have for you will be Ellery Queen and the Secret of the Adventure of the Circus Train. And that's a very good mystery where a murder takes place on a speeding train in the middle of the night, and quite a few suspects in that one. And the other one is Easy Aces, and that'll be Jane Thinks Mink. So we got a great show for you coming up next month. Thank you. Now here's John Gelsomino.
By the way, I want him to have a proper introduction. Mr. Boynton was Herb Thompson. Give it up for Herb. All right, well, thank you for making us part of your holiday season once again. Just a reminder that we are not the only place where you can find old-time radio broadcasts. 3 local stations continue to broadcast programs from radio's golden age. On Saturday afternoons between 1 and 5 p.m., you can listen to Those Were the Days with Steve Darnall on WDCP 90.9 FM out of the College of DuPage. On Saturday evenings between 8 and midnight, host Carl Amari presents Old Time Radio on the program Hollywood 360, airing on WIND 560 AM. And every weeknight, if you are up late, you can listen at midnight to When Radio Was with Greg Bell on WBBM News Radio 780 and 105.9 FM. If you have satellite radio, you can listen to Old Time Radio 24 hours a day on Sirius XM Radio Classics, Channel 82. You can also view all of our shows on our YouTube page. Just search the Riverside Township Radio Players, and Andre Dixon has organized all of our shows going back several years. If you want to check out any old broadcasts, thank you to Andre for doing that. A necessary thanks goes to the Riverside Township Board and Supervisor Rich Tusher for their continued support of our shows. Without a budget, rehearsal space, and this lovely auditorium, these shows don't happen. And special thanks to Township Board member and one of our best fans, Ann Kabitsky, who recently, yes, give it up for Ann, Ann recently championed one of our causes in helping us replace our dying 10-year-old camera, making our jobs much easier and making our shows look a lot better on YouTube. So check out our new broadcasts in full HD on YouTube. We look and sound better. All thanks to you, Ann. Thank you. A final thank you tonight, as Roger mentioned, goes to Ellie Babka and Donna Amesmeyer, who takes care of our publicity, copying of scripts, and other miscellaneous and necessary things. We are also so lucky to have an incredibly skilled graphic designer, sound effects creator, and actor, as you saw tonight, Marty McNulty. Marty designs our flyers. He keeps our website going at riversidetownshipradioplayers.com and spends way too much time making sure our sound effects are prepared well each month. Let me also thank my technical partner, Lorenzo Cordova, who helped me out big time tonight. And I also want to thank you, the audience. You guys have been terrific tonight for both our shows and for the Riverside Township Band earlier. Thank you. Once again, as Dave mentioned, we will be back on Friday, January 23rd for 2 shows that evening. Have a great holiday season. Thank you for coming, and have a great night.